Right, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakadash, which is all praises to Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, uh, in the name of the Holy Spirit, and double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Men who've been truly laboring and laboring through the faith through years, and who built up the church of Great Millstone from the ground up. You know, of course, coming through One West through their elders, through the Spirit. Because one thing, you know, just to jump right into it, one thing I noticed with the other camps, they don't have a strong foundation. They just had one guy who kind of knew a couple of scriptures, and then he kind of went over it with another guy, and you know, they sort of winged it until they got a whole bunch of followers because they were teaching Israel. But going into the understanding of the scriptures, they really don't know the full breakdowns. Well, hey, the full understanding was given to my elders. You know, it was passed. Everything was passed down through Ariah. Okay, then my elders received a certain level of understanding, so the knowledge was divided up between them. But together they have that 100% understanding, and they taught me that 100% understanding, and that's what separates Great Millstone from every other group. But hey, just getting into it, man, brothers are paying attention and watching the news. You can see because I've been googling this for a while, Hebrew Israelites, and it's interesting. And nothing will really come up. You know, you got a couple of articles here and there. Well, you had a couple of articles here and there on a couple of little random sites, maybe a little Christian site or whatever, but it really wasn't a lot of specifics. But now they're going ahead and they're going straight, you know, balls out with it, with putting us up and making us a subject of news and all of this stuff, which you know it's all through the spirit. And this is hey, just like we've been training up in Great Millstone, and you know we've been in a house cleaning, and you know brothers have been laboring and laboring and trying to go through the discipline and going through rebuke and going through the fiery trials. Well, hell, now this is mainstream. You know, you got rappers talking about us, you got news talking about us. They decided to make this little weird ass situation, you know, with this dude who maybe an actor, you know, with Esau, his smug ass, who changed up his story, and then out of all of that, they highlighted us, which of course, you know, Fox News. Um, and I'm not gonna click on any of these articles because they all say the same shit. They all talking shit about us. They're all talking about we're, you know, black or extremists or whatever. When at the end of the day, all we do is we teach the Bible. And like you got all these guys who've had the Bible for hundreds of years, all these rabbis and you know leaders of the church, and they've had the Bible and they've watered it down, either under a 501c3 charter or under the false false teachings and false narratives. But now you have guys who, you know, I'm speaking of Great Millstone. I can't speak on every camp, but now you have guys who are really coming with the full essence of the Bible. Because just like in Deuteronomy 7, it talks about Israel, we are the apple of the Lord's eye. We are the top nation. And every nation, you know, pretty much at some point, every nation went to war with us. Every nation hated us because Yahweh Bashim Shah favored us and they knew it. Okay, and we would have been chosen to be his priesthood. We were chosen from the beginning, just like the scriptures say, I chose you from the beginning, which that's really talking about the elect. You know, we're the hopeful elect as well. But Israel, you know, in the end, according to Romans 10, We're all going to be in the kingdom at a certain point. We're all going to be in rulership. And that's what these heathens, deep in their spirit, they're angered about that. They hate seeing us succeed. They hate seeing us on a high level of performance. They hate seeing us in our zone on the top of our game. That's something you notice when you interact with Esau. They're always trying to fuck with you, always trying to throw you off, throw loops at you. That's and they do that because they know once you get in your zone, you have that blessing of Jacob. It's for the black, Native American, and Latino people. Once we get in our zone, you get in your element, whatever your craft might be, they really can't do too much with you. And that's just a spiritual thing. Just like Esau has what's called psychology, right? Which is your psyche, that's your spirit. It's the study of your spirit, and you have what's called subconscious. You have little subconscious habits you do. Little ticks, little talks, little things that you do. You might touch your face or whatever it might be. But subconsciously, when you deal with these Edomites, you always notice, even if they're nice to you, there's that tension, there's that flare, there's that opposition in their spirit. Even if they're being nice to you, complimenting you, whatever, there's always that opposition, that catch in their spirit when they deal with you. And even now, we already knew this was coming. Brothers have been talking about this for the longest. Here it is. They're coming with the bullshit. I just want to jump in and get to a couple of scriptures. Not gonna make this long. John 18:36. Fact. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go back to John 18:31. Then it said Pilate, because this is when they wrongfully convicted the Lord, which this just goes to show you the wickedness of Israel. You know, these are especially the southern kingdom. These are so-called Jews who convicted the Messiah. Because when you go into the Messiah, the Mashiach, the anointed, which Messiah means that you're the king and the high priest. Um, Here it is. They convicted of the Messiah, a man who came down. He was perfect in all ways, and they convicted him to die. Wicked niggas with angles. And that's what we're seeing at IUIC right now, man. A bunch of wicked ass niggas with angles. And they've been warned for years. The elders and apostles have been bringing it out for years about this guy, Nathaniel. And now you're seeing his congregation crumble, and there's a bunch of den of thieves, stealing from each other, defrauding each other, lying on each other, just a bunch of fucking lowlives. And that's the name of the game for a lot of Israelites. That's why it's important to stay focused and to stay listening to the correct leadership. And because the Lord blessed certain men, the men of Great Millstone, He blessed us with that leadership. If you only as good as your leader. If your leader's a piece of shit, if your leader's slow or whatever, there's only so much you could do. Because that man is over you. And with Israel, it's like they chose Barabbas. They chose a murderer. And that's the name, that's still, to this day, that's the name of the game for Israel. They salute, what they call real niggas, a lot of murderers, low lives, drug dealers. They'll call them a kingpin. They'll call him a boss, all of this shit. A real low life piece of shit who put his energy into destroying his own people. And then they'll try to call us out for teaching the scriptures. Kind of, it's just backwards ass shit. But we know, of course, there's going to be a remedy for that. But jumping into this, then it said, Pilate unto them, take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death, that the saying of Yahushua might be filled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Yahushua and said, art thou the king of the Jews? Yahushua answers him, sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? In which that's probably the case. Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Which was fucking off. You had our people delivering the Lord, the Messiah, up to a fucking Edomite, up to a fucking devil. Yahushua answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. And now, when you read this and you're in the world, they try to throw on this whole peace and love thing. The Lord was an extreme pacifist. He would never fight. All of this, but just like it said there, he said, "If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would fight." So the Lord, he would have threw down with him if his kingdom was of that world, which that word is cosmos. You have many, specific group, specific, just like in John 3:16, that word is cosmos too. But yeah, my world with my kingdom is not of this specific place. So, the only reason that the Lord had to take he had to take the L to shed his blood to be that perfect sacrifice. So he had to die basically, and he knew it. That's the only that's the only reason the Lord didn't fight back, because he had the power to. Like he said, then with my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews, but now is my kingdom not from hence. So there you go, man. And we have the same attitude, certain prophecies have to happen before it's time to get into all of that. This man, he has to go down. The elect have to be sealed. It's like the scriptures talk about the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Because right now, like it also says, what we're the fishers of men. Right now, we're trying to persuade men. We're trying to fish men, trying to bring them out of the bullshit. And us fighting, it's only gonna get you locked up. It's only gonna get you, under investigation and all of this shit. Them bringing you in the courtroom. It's gonna cause you much more trouble than is necessary. We know the kingdom that's promised to us is in a whole nother level. So we're not worried about this little petty bullshit down here. Like somebody came to the camp and said, this little shit on the side, all this little shit. But even amongst, excuse me, Salaki, even amongst the Lord though, he had people who were zealots formerly before they came into the faith. So he had some cats who were a little rowdy. He's Simon the Zealot, and I believe Judas was a zealot as well. And let's just real quick highlight them. Zealots, members of the Jewish sect, right, is noted for its uncompromising opposition to pagan Rome and the polytheism it professed, right, the many gods. The Zealots were an aggressive political party whose concern for the national and religious life of the Jewish people led them to despise even Jews who sought peace and conciliation with the Roman authorities. Just like, hey, so they were completely against that empire. A census of Galilee ordered by Rome in 6 AD spurred the Zealots to rally the populace to non-compliance on the grounds that agreement was an implicit acknowledgement by Jews of the rights of pagans to rule their nations, which it basically was. Extremists among the Zealots turned to terrorism and assassination and became known as Sakari, right, which is Greek for dagger men. They frequented public places with hidden daggers to strike down persons friendly to Rome. As our people, they were on some shit, like you got the Assassin's Creed, that kind of shit. They were on that kind of shit. They were trying to take people out to keep Rome but it was all prophecy. All the things that happened. It's only so much you can do. You know, everything that's about to happen, that's happening now, has already been written. It's just filling in the gap between that and what we're doing now. But in the first revolt against Rome, right? This is leading up to 70 AD. The Zealots playing a leading role at Masada in 73 AD. They committed suicide rather than surrender the fortress, but they were still a force to be reckoned with, right? So, basically at a certain point when they were defeated at Masada, they chose to kill themselves. Which Masada, that was a great fortress on the top of a mountain. This is Masada today. It's just a shell of what it was, but hey, so they had all of it set up. They were sons of Jacob. They had knives set up. They had men set up. You know, assassins set up. All of that, and Esau still took them down. Why? Because it was all through prophecy. Because the Lord gave us specific commandments to do, and this is them just trying to reimagine it. But shit, even when Esau reimagines the stuff that was, he still can't. You know what I'm saying? These people back then, they were on a whole another level of understanding because they had that connection with the ancient world. So it's probably some even crazier shit than this. But this is just a basic concept of what it was. It was a fortress. And now, people will say this stuff is not real, but damn, these Edomites, they they've used all these millions of dollars to research it, to figure it out, to find the specific cities to go through and look at them and discover these different hidden places. They spent all this money to do that, and as you can see, a shell of it still remains. But you're telling me none of this ever existed? This is all a fairy tale? Come on now. Esau doesn't invest money unless he's gonna get a return on it. We know how damn Edomites are when it comes to money investments and lending. So it's got to be something there for you if you're doubting the validity of all this stuff that's going on. Look at that. They got all kind of shit. They wanna relive the things that we've gone through, and that's crazy. Esau has to create a damn, I forget what this is, some kind of rail system. Forget what it's called, but they imagine how they would have had to get up there in the ancient world. You have to fucking, it's probably like a little goat path to get up there. But anyway, finishing out, this is the Sakari. This says what? This is ancientorigins.net. It says the Sakari, it's translated from Dagerman, or a group of Jewish zealots who lived in the first century AD. They intended to expel the Romans and their collaborators from Judea and resisted their rule. One of the tools they employed in their effort to achieve this end was assassination, especially in crowded places, which was calculated to strike fear into the hearts of enemies. The Sicaria is considered one of the earliest groups of terrorists in human history. So yeah, and that's Jake for you, man, with a form of all things. So you can read this for yourself. This is the kind of stuff that they had. These big ass, just like you got these giant buck knives and machetes and shit. Well, they had these big ass daggers. You get hit with this in the right spot, you're going down. So, and then eventually, of course, the first Roman Jewish war, uh, and the Jew we lose basically. The Romans beat us. They put a siege on Masada. They put a siege on Jerusalem. And then these people have to commit suicide just to get away. So the Romans end up winning in the end. And that, Judas, of course, we know betrayed Yahweh Shai. So all of that betrayal that he did was for nothing. You know, but it was all through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that all of that stuff happened, just like it is now. So just stay focused, keep going. The Lord has a path paved for us. Call on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hopefully, this is edifying. Shalom.